Yo, what is going on, Guardians? Gray here. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. It feels good to be back covering Destiny 2. I know we were covering Genshin for a little while, but I am so excited to get back into Destiny right before Beyond Light. It's getting pretty hype right now, and that's going to lead us into today's video. I want to talk about 5 of the best hand cannons that you should get your hands on before Beyond Light. If you guys have been paying attention to the most recent TWABs, you'll know that there are a lot of changes planned for hand cannons going into Beyond Light. The entire archetype of lightweight hand cannons, 150 RPM hand cannons, is going away. They're going to merge it. They're going to bring them all down into the 140 RPM family, which has a lot of serious implications for the sandbox. On top of that, they're taking all of our 110 aggressive frame hand cannons and buffing them to a 120 RPM. So they're going to get a slight buff in rate of fire, but they're also changing how the range stat is affecting all of our hand cannons. We're almost getting back to pre-Shadow Keep range values on our 140s, and on our 120s, I'm going to call them now because that's what they will be. The range on those things is going to be ridiculous. I'm talking upwards of 40 meters. We have a lot to dive into. I'm going to get straight into it. If you guys enjoy the video, consider leaving a like below and smashing that subscribe button. It's a free way to support me here on the channel as we head into Beyond Light. And this is going to be your guide so you can slay out in the Crucible come the beginning of Beyond Light. Now, full disclosure, obviously there's going to be new hand cannons and new weapons inside of Beyond Light that I have no way of knowing about. The only one I do know about is Hawkmoon. We know we're getting Hawkmoon back. We don't know what archetype it's going to be, what the perks are going to look like in D2. I'm sure it's going to be amazing, but this list is going to be 5 weapons that we know of for sure that will be powerful inside of Beyond Light. Starting off the list, of course, you know it's going to be on here, the Ace of Spades exotic hand cannon. This thing is absolutely amazing, and the only reason you don't see more of it is purely because of the lightweight archetype dominating the meta this entire time. It just has a slower overall time to kill than any 150 RPM hand cannon. Not by much, but by enough to make a difference, and that's why you don't see it. I mean, it has its place in the game and people use it. It's a really fun and strong weapon. But if you're playing trials and you're playing competitive and every millisecond of TTK counts, then you're going to be using a 150 RPM. Now that those are gone, that's going to bring Ace of Spades back into the fold. It's going to be extremely strong and prevalent in the meta. I've been messing around with it recently. I've been playing with it again, trying to get used to how 140s feel, and this thing just feels so crispy and so good. If you don't have it, you need to pick it up from the Gunsmith. It's a quest you can get from him. Once you start the Forsaken campaign, you follow that quest and you'll land your hands on this weapon. If you're one of our new light players and you need to know where to get this, that's where you're going to want to start. It's been, like I said, it's been outshined by 150s for so long, but I want to talk about how it functions just as a reminder. Of course, we have the intrinsic perk Memento Mori, where reloading after any kill loads your magazine with a few extra damage bullets, and it grants radar while you're aiming down sights, and that's very nice to have inside of the Crucible. We also have the perk Firefly, where precision kills with this weapon increase reload speed, sort of like Outlaw, but it also causes the target to explode. It's like Dragonfly and Outlaw put together inside of one perk. It's very strong and it's really fun inside of Crucible when you're landing those headshots. I get some multi-kills sometimes that it's just, you don't even think it's going to happen, but it does, and it's so much fun. The best part about it is that since Ace of Spades has been out, we've gotten access to so many new mods, like the Charge with Light system inside of the game, and you can use things like High Energy Fire and Charge with Light on top of Memento Mori. Memento Mori counts as sort of a gun buff, like Kill Clip or Rampage, where Charge with Light sort of counts as a personal buff, is how I categorize them. It's on your Guardian versus your gun, and those things will stack because they're separate like that. And you can do some absolutely insane things when you combine those things together. And then heading into Beyond Light, where there's no more 150s, this gun is going to reign supreme. I promise you that. So we're going to move on to the next weapon. Go pick up Ace of Spades. You got to have it. It's iconic, and it's going to be incredible. Next on the list is going to be another absolutely iconic weapon to the Destiny franchise, and that is the Thorn hand cannon. Personally, this is one of my favorite weapons in the game. I have used it since the day it came out in D2, and I have kept it by my side since then. I love this weapon, and it's going to see a lot of changes inside of Beyond Light. So we're going to talk about it a little bit because it has the potential to be absolutely insane, and it could stand alone apart from all the other 140s. Of course, Thorn right now is a 150 RPM hand cannon, and it's going to change. It's going to become a 140 adaptive frame hand cannon. That brings some things into the fold, some questions that we need to answer. The big thing about 140s that a lot of people wanted to see is that we wanted them to be 2 head, 1 body for your optimal TTK. We thought that would have been a nice buff to separate them from 150s. Obviously, Bungie changed that. They're going to merge the 2 families, which personally I'm okay with for a myriad of reasons we won't get into here. But if that makes it so Thorn can 2 head, 1 body, that might completely make it stand alone from every other 140 in the game. And it may not do it in its base form, but once you have that Soul Devourer perk going, once you get a kill and you pick up the Soul Remnant, man, we might be able to do some insane things. As a 150, it can 2-tap when you have Soul Devourer going on a low resilience Guardian. So as a 140, man, I'm telling you, it could be absolutely insane. It's going to be interesting to see, though, because a lot of these 150s that are coming over to 140s, it's not like they have inherently less range. Where they differentiate is their aim assist values. All these 150s have way more aim assist than a lot of our 140s. But the 140s are going to benefit more from the range stat. So some of these 150s that are being crossed over may not have as much range as some of their other 140 RPM cousins. However, they will retain that aim assist stat, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm sorry if that sounds a little complicated. It's pretty in-depth, but it's very intricate how all these 150s are going to interact, or how they're going to behave, rather, once they transfer over into that adaptive family. As far as this weapon goes for acquiring it, I would really recommend you go get it now, because the quest is tied to one of the areas that's going away come Beyond Light. There is a strike on Titan, the Chasm of Screams, you need to complete as the final part of the Thorn quest. I'm sure there's going to be another system to get it. It may be easier. It may be more of a pain in the ass. We don't know. So I would recommend going and getting your hands on it now so you have it out of the way before Beyond Light, because what else do you really have to do in the game right now? Anyway, go get your hands on Thorn. It's going to be amazing, and it could be even stronger than we might think. Up next, I actually want to change things up a little bit and talk about a pairing of hand cannons, just because they serve as good examples. At the beginning of the video, I also talked about how 110 RPM or aggressive frame hand cannons are being buffed in Beyond Light. They're being changed to a 120 RPM archetype, and they're going to benefit a lot more from their range stat. They're going to break it apart from other hand cannons, and on some of these things, I'm telling you, you're going to be able to see upwards of 40, even 45 meters when you're ADS'd with some of these hand cannons, which is absolutely insane. While they may not have the best time to kill inside of the game, some of the perk combinations and rolls that we can get on them may make them very, very strong when we have that kind of range. It's going to be pretty crazy, and I'm trying to stay cautious because we don't quite know how it's going to feel come Beyond Light. The gameplay you're seeing in the background is me using them in their 110 RPM form. I'm talking about right now the True Prophecy hand cannon and its sort of cousin or counterpart, Crimil's dagger. I'm going to show gameplay of both here. They're both 110 RPM hand cannons that are available right now that are not getting sunset next season. So if you were to get your hands on one of these with a solid roll, you might consider hanging onto it because it could be very strong. And both of these actually have access to some really strong rolls. The True Prophecy I'm using here has rangefinder and explosive payload. You take this roll into a sandbox where range matters even more for this type of hand cannon, this thing's going to be absolutely nuts. Rangefinder is going to push that damage fall off even further, and then explosive payload is going to prevent damage fall off for an even further distance. This thing is going to be a little snipe cannon, if I do say so myself. Taking a look at Crimil's dagger, this is a hand cannon that you can get from Iron Banner, and it's very strong as well. It has access to some really nice rolls. The one I'm using here has snapshot and kill clip, and it's going to be just as strong as something like True Prophecy. Maybe not quite as much range, but both of these have fantastic roll options available on them. Like I said, pretty difficult to use right now in the current sandbox, but next in Beyond Light, they're going to be very strong. And again, like I said, with Ace of Spades, you combine these with some Charge with Light mods, and you can get pretty filthy. You might be able to get some 2-taps off of these things come the new sandbox. I'm really excited to see how 110 hand cannons or 120 hand cannons shake out in the new sandbox. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. I have a video planned comparing how they are now versus how they sit after Beyond Light. We'll see once we get our hands on them. So moving on to the next weapon on the list. It's a little special one, and you're going to want to keep an eye out for it. So moving on, we have another exotic hand cannon here on the list, and this one is going to be very special for a very strange reason. For whatever reason, unknown to me, Bungie has decided to leave the Sunshot untouched as a 150 RPM hand cannon. It is going to be the only 150 RPM hand cannon in Beyond Light, as far as we know. I'm fairly certain that Hawk Moon isn't going to be a 150, so I can say with confidence that Sunshot's going to be the only one filling that role. It's a little bizarre that they decided to do that. I really don't quite understand the logic behind it, but we're going to roll with it and we're going to talk about it. So Sunshot has always been a really unique weapon for a couple of reasons, and if you go from using something like a Dire Promise or a Spare Rations, and then you hop over to Sunshot, you're going to feel like your bullets are ghosting or like they're not registering, and there's a reason why. And that's because this hand cannon has a significantly lower aim assist value than most other 150 hand cannons in the game. And I have a feeling maybe that's why Bungie decided to keep this as a 150. I mean, it stays, I guess, balanced in that regard, that you don't have the insane aim assist value that 150s currently have, but it's still, if you land those 3 crits, you're going to have a faster TTK than any 140 in the game. A 150 3 crits is a 0.8 second time to kill, where a 140 is going to be a 0.87. I know that's, really splitting hairs there, but there's a reason why 150s currently sit on top of 140s, and it's for that 0.07 seconds of TTK. So Sunshot could be pretty nuts, especially when it intrinsically has explosive rounds. If you, like I was saying with my 110 RPMs, explosive payload or explosive rounds helps deviate some damage fall off. You're going to be able to hit your targets further away and still be able to deal a set amount of damage. This, of course, also has that Sunblast perk where even if you don't get a precision kill, any kill with this weapon will do the Dragonfly effect, and it's bigger than Dragonfly. It's like a freaking nuke. They'll explode and do a big-ass explosion. If that explosion kills someone else, they'll explode as well. They'll chain together, and it also highlights targets that you damage with Sunshot. It's really, really strong, and if you have the Catalyst, you're going to get increased range and stability on it. It's going to be very, very strong. I'm sort of eager to see where it lands in the sandbox. I hope it's not too insane. I mean, it's kind of bizarre that it's going to be the only 150, but we'll see. If you're going up against a 120 that has some 45-meter range, you're probably going to get beat out. So we'll see how it shakes out, but definitely get your hands on it because it's a fun weapon one way or another. It's still really fun to use, and it's worth having in your arsenal. And finally, the last weapon on the list is going to be the Nation of Beasts. God damn, is this hand cannon sexy. Look at that thing. Nothing else looks like that in this game. It is so wicked, and it takes shaders amazing. I don't want to go into it, but damn, if you have your hands on this, go throw some shaders on it because they all look incredible. But that's not the point. This thing is really unique for a specific reason, and that it drops from the Last Wish raid. Because of that, it's sunset proof. This is, well, not sunset proof, but if you have your hands on it, it's good to go through at least the next year of Destiny content. You'll be able to have this at least for another year. Bungie is keeping the raid rewards basically sunset proof. So if you get your hands on one of these hand cannons, you'll be good to go for a while. It's also an energy hand cannon, which is nice. That can definitely make it so you can do some different loadouts. If there's some kinetic weapons, kinetic special weapons you want to use, you can throw on a Nation of Beasts. And it's a really strong option. It has some really good perk rolls. You can see the one I have here has Hammer Forged, Accurized Rounds, Zen Moment, and Kill Clip. And it's not outstanding by any means, but like I said, 140s are going to get that range buff, and they're going to be a lot stronger in the next sandbox. So having an energy hand cannon like this will be very good. I sort of think of it as my replacement for Waking Vigil. Waking Vigil is sort of an ARC 150 hand cannon that's available right now, but it's being sunset come next season. So this is sort of my replacement for that. I like to have at least one solid energy hand cannon laying around. And if you get some other rolls on it, it's sort of a Fatebringer 2.0 from Destiny 1. You can get that Outlaw Dragonfly roll on the curated Nation of Beasts. A little more rare to get your hands on the curated one from the raid, but if you do, it's a really awesome roll that you can take over into PvE as well. This is going to be a really strong option to keep your eyes out for, and it's going to make doing that Last Wish raid more desirable, so you can go get this hand cannon because it's really, really strong, and I do enjoy using it. So keep an eye out for this one because I think it could be kind of sleeper, honestly. I don't think a lot of people keep this one in mind when they're thinking about all the weapons that are being sunset or not sunset come next season. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. That was just sort of my personal top 5 that I'm going to be using at the start of Beyond Light. Now, don't crucify me. Don't come at me if I didn't list your favorite hand cannon on here. Of course, there are some other strong options as well. There's things like, we don't know how Lumina's going to shake out. That could be very strong. Last Word is going to be not like it used to be, but it could be pretty strong. There's going to be other hand cannons that are also very powerful and tons of new ones coming as well. These are just ones that I have that I love, and I'm excited to see how they perform in the new sandbox. If there's another one you want to talk about, leave a comment down below and let's talk about it because I just want to have some fun and prep up while we're waiting for Beyond Light, and these are going to be so much fun to try out in that new Crucible sandbox. I'm really excited. I hope you guys found the video helpful. If you have any questions about good rolls on your weapons or where to get some of these exotics, drop it down below. I try to respond to every comment as best I can, so don't be shy and ask me anything. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like below and consider smashing that subscribe button for me. It's a free way to support me. We're almost to 2,000 subscribers. It was a little goal for me to hit that before Beyond Light drop. So if we could get there, that would be amazing. But with that being said, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate your time. Good luck hunting these down, and I'll see you in Beyond Light. Take care.